Hey girl, in today's episode of the Her Best Self podcast, I'm talking with you about the high performers' hidden eating disorder and how corporate culture and high pressure work environments feed disordered eating. You're going to want to tune in to today's show. Let's get the party started. Here we go. Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsay Nickel, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it so you can start living your best life as your best self. When people hear eating disorder, they picture a very specific stereotype, right? Usually it's a young woman or somebody that is super underweight, maybe in ballet or modeling. But the facts are really clear. Only 6% of those who struggle with eating disorders are actually underweight. And many women are coming forward even more in midlife. And I did a recent episode on this. So if you were looking for that one, go back a couple episodes, and you can tune in more about women in midlife and eating disorders. But my point is that eating disorders do not discriminate. There is, however, a common theme, and I've been working with women for years, and majority of the women that I help support their recovery through and coach and help navigate the ups and the downs and the all-arounds, they're all high performers. They're CEOs, they're boss babes, professors, authors, entrepreneurs, healthcare executives, lawyers, dietitians, corporate executives. These are some of the most disciplined, driven, capable humans that you will literally ever meet. And that's actually part of what makes them so vulnerable. And maybe you can relate to this because maybe this resonates with you and you find yourself in one of those jobs where you are exceptional at your job, but some of the same traits like perfectionism and discipline and control and high standards, the ability to push through discomfort, those are the exact traits that an eating disorder exploits. And here's the kicker. According to recent statistics in the eating disorder space, 73% of women in corporate environments report engaging in at least one disordered eating behavior. This includes restrictive dieting, excessive exercise, purging, binging, etc. So if you're a high performer who feels trapped in your body, in your mind, and in your job maybe, or you're constantly go in your job, you know that something might not be right, but you can't quite connect the dots, then I want to share this episode with you today, friend, because your workplace might be actually feeding your disorder. And so it's time that we talked about this topic. This one came in through an email for me to address, and I just thought, wow, this is such a great topic. I want to dive in with you on the corporate world, the high, fast-paced hustle energy and the careers that most of my clients have either had and are coming on the last leg of, or they're finding themselves in currently. So in case you haven't known or you're new to this show, welcome, friend. But I climbed the corporate ladder for years. In fact, I was this person that I explained at the beginning of the episode. I was the first one in. I was grinding for years with no breaks, skipping meals because I was dedicated, working out at 5 a.m. before long days, before a commute. And I spent my entire life, my educational life, my adult life performing. In addition to performing as a skater and a professional figure skater and always having to be the one that was on the podium, landing the jumps, completing everything perfectly. That translated even after my eating disorder into a corporate career that was very similar. And during COVID, when the world slowed down, I don't know, I just realized I was exhausted from it. Not just tired, but soul deep exhausted from the hamster wheel. And that is when I leaned into my passion and calling to start the show to help women recover. And that has been on the forefront ever since. And my main goal in life, quite frankly, is to help more and more women just like you navigate this path of healing. But here is what I didn't realize. My corporate environment wasn't just stressing me out. It was feeding patterns that looked a lot like disordered eating, even years after recovering. And the problem is that we don't call it that in the corporate world. We call it dedication, we call it discipline, we call it goals, commitments, KPIs. But when you start peeling back the layers, there are many chilling parallels. Let me show you what I mean. So I want you to listen to these thought patterns and tell me if they sound any which way remotely similar or familiar to you, okay? So our corporate culture, our hustle energy, our high performance culture says, who needs lunch? Like, you have too much to do right now on your list. And that eating disorder voice will say, who needs lunch? It's not a necessity. You can push through, right? Very similar. Your hustle corporate energy is going to say, you can't take a break. Everyone's counting on you. And your eating disorder mind is going to say, see, I can't eat. I have to stay in control of the situation. Like, everyone needs me. The corporate culture is going to say, if you rest, you're going to fall behind. You need to stay productive. And the eating disorder mind is going to tell you that if you rest is for losers. And you're going to lose control if you rest. You need to make sure that you get in that workout. Do you see it? It's the exact similar framework of one another, where your worth is conditional. Your value is based on your performance. And really what this is telling you is that you're only as good as your last result. And here's what makes this crazy. In corporate culture, this mindset will get you promoted. It will get you praised. It will get you the corner office. It will get you those credentials behind your name if you were an achiever and a go-getter and going through all levels of education in order to be perfect in your craft. So by the time that you realize something's off, you've been reinforcing these patterns for years, all coupled with disordered eating habits, and you've been rewarded the entire time. I just want you to think about how this promotes the beliefs that can sound super harmless, but are actually gasoline on a fire for someone that might be wired just like you and I. So when we think results over rest, okay, this is a belief that you have to be productive in order to have any sort of value. This teaches you that your body is just a vehicle for performance. And if the vehicle needs fuel or maintenance, well, that's kind of inconvenient right now, and it just needs to keep on trucking along. It also teaches you the discipline equals success. Okay, this is such a toxic belief, because when discipline becomes rigid, when it becomes rules, when it becomes, I can't eat that because I don't allow myself to eat that, that's not discipline anymore. That's disordered eating, and it's dressed up in self-control and a suit is what it is. And this belief that, oh, well, in order to be successful, you have to be disciplined. In order to be the best, you have to have rigid routines. It actually compounds those routines and creates even more need to want to control. Another toxic belief that I see a lot of is mind over matter. Okay, this is the idea that you literally can push through anything, whether that is hunger, exhaustion, pain. If you've got enough mental energy toughness, then you need to just keep trudging forward. What this is doing is glorifying that ignoring your body is the right way. And eating disorders thrive when you disconnect from your body. What we have to learn when we're in recovery is that our body is not going to trust us after years of not feeding it or after years of not having hunger cues. So we have to build that trust back. But when you're disconnected from your body, it can be really hard to do that because you've just been pushing through and going. Eventually, friend, it catches up with you. Another big one that is a total crazy belief is that we must optimize everything. Okay, this means that you need to be tracking your macros, your steps, your sleep, your productivity. Don't forget the Oura rings and the Apple Watches. When everything becomes a metric to optimize, your body then becomes a project. And projects, they can be controlled and they can be manipulated and they can be perfected. And this becomes an ultimate obsession. This is eating disorder logic. But yet in work environments, we want to try to optimize everything, right? We want to try to have all of the variables and control the outcome and perfect your craft. These beliefs, they seem super harmless. They are even celebrated, right? Discipline equals success, and you cannot rest until you have results, and you must make everything perfect. For someone who's already anxious, for someone who's looking for control, these messages are like quicksand. And here's what's scary. People assume that if you're successful, you're fine. But I see women who are absolutely crushing it professionally. And one reason why I wanted to do today's episode, because I have all of these types of women right now that I'm working with, but they're dying inside. And here are some of the signs that everyone misses. And I wanted to talk about this. If you always feel like you're on, okay, you feel like you can't rest, you can't turn your mind off, and then add to that the eating disorder thoughts. If you're skipping meals because you're too busy, or you have to work on this presentation, or you have to tweak this, and everyone around you is like praising you for your dedication, but it's not really dedication. I want you to question and go, am I avoiding the hard truths? Because this is where I found myself. Like, am I spending so much energy and time into my work that I'm then now identifying as somebody who really is a workaholic, sadly, and therefore I'm avoiding my truth? If you have rigid food rules that are disguised as wellness, like I don't eat carbs, or I only eat clean, or I'm doing intermittent fasting, it might sound healthy, but these are all ways to control. Add on you're over exercising no matter what, or you have to hit the gym, or you have to be on the treadmill, even when you're sick, when you're injured, when you're exhausted. And maybe you're framing this up as like, oh, you can't have a rest day. This isn't discipline. This is compulsion. So let's stop calling it as like, I'm doing the right thing. Rest is part of the right thing. Maybe you talk about your body in transactional terms, similarly to how you view like a business transaction. I know I used to be guilty for this. Like, I have to burn this off. I have to compensate. If I'm going to have this, then I have to do this later. Or I can't have that because I didn't work out today. The scary part about this is that most of all of these behaviors that are showing up are celebrated in high-performing cultures and environments. So you might not even realize until it's a little late that you struggle with an eating disorder, or that you have disordered eating patterns, because you just think that you're healthy and you're disciplined and you're dedicated and you're successful and everyone should be more like you. And I mean that with all the love. So this is what I want you to hear. Those traits that you think define you, they may not be who you actually are. They might just be symptoms of working in an environment that rewards disordered behaviors and amplifies the behaviors that are already accustomed to things that you've tied to beliefs, like skinny as in. Maybe they're just symptoms of a culture that tells you that your worth is tied to your output or your weight. Symptoms of systems that glorify deprivation and then turn right around and call it dedication. Like, oh, I pulled an all-nighter. I remember that in college. You were super cool if you pulled an all-nighter to cram for an exam. I don't know about you, but it was like wearing this badge of honor, which is very similar to what we do when we live in a disordered brain. At the same time that we feel so insecure and inadequate deep inside of us, we feel broken, we feel weak. We want the world to see a different part of us, different energy. And so we come out strong. We have high performing careers. We have goals. We have dedication. We have all these commitments. We're overly exhausting ourselves. But what I need you to hear is you're not broken and you're not weak and you're responding exactly how anyone else would respond to impossible standards. And here's the hope. You can be both successful and recovered. And I feel like for my mind, way back when, it felt like I had to, this is just who I am. It's part of who I am. But recovery doesn't mean giving up who you are or your ambition. It just means reclaiming it and reshaping it. When we think about true high performance, that isn't about pushing through at all costs, no matter what. When you think about the best of the best, it is a strategy. It is about long-term sustainability. It is about showing up as your very best self and not your most depleted self. And what really helped me in my recovery was, instead of feeling like I was giving up part of myself that I actually admired, I had to allow myself to go, you know what? I'm not letting myself go. I'm not giving up that part of myself. I'm making myself better. My brain works better when it's nourished. So that's a non-negotiable. My body performs better when it's rested. So that's a non-negotiable. And my work is actually going to improve. I'm going to be a better mom and boss and leader and friend when I'm not obsessing over food 24/7. So what I want you to look at today and take away from today's episode is that you don't have to think about these things different as in black and white. If you are a high performer, you can still be a high performer. If you like rituals and you like routines, you can still have those things. Recovery doesn't take away that. It redirects it. But you stop using your discipline to destroy yourself in the process, and you can start using it to build a life that you want that isn't restricted. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to audit your current workplace culture, your temperature around how you view your goals in your life and your work, whether that is your career or whether that is how you operate at what you do, like what drives you. And I want you to see and kind of audit that. What might be feeding disordered patterns? Are you praised for things that are actually very disordered? Working through lunch, or staying on the treadmill for 50 minutes, or does your company have wellness competitions that you're constantly performing in? Are you on the Peloton trying to be first? Do you feel pressure to track every single thing in life in other areas, not just when it comes to your calories, for an example, but pressure to always meet the outcome, overperform the deliverable? Do you have boundaries, or do you see those as weaknesses? I remember one time my boss called me at godly hours and I was like, I have to pick up the phone. I have no other option. I must pick up the phone. And I caught myself. It was 10 o'clock at night and I'm in the bathtub. I saw that as a weakness. I have to be available. And sometimes I still to this day have to separate that with my clients, right? Because not only do we offer a service where if you work one-on-one with me or someone from my team, but you have ongoing support in between sessions. And so you can text us. We will text you back. I will do my best to answer as soon as I can and work you through and solution and be there for you. That is the value of one-on-one and accountability. But not to the point of overextending myself. And so I want you to ask yourself, where are you feeding some of these patterns? Do you find that you overextend to everyone in your life around you? Do you feel like you have to earn rest, that you have to constantly get accolades or praise in order to even evaluate how you are as a human, right? What is your worth attached to? And then ask some deeper thought questions. Am I using work or my career or whatever it be as an excuse to control my food or my weight or exercise? Is the line of work I'm in helping or hindering my place right now and what I'm trying to overcome in terms of these disordered beliefs that are in my brain? Am I feeding them? When work gets overwhelming or I get stressed out, am I restricting my food? Am I negotiating more in my mind? Do I earn my meals based on productivity in any ways? Or am I exercising compulsively? If you're answering yes to any of these things as I'm talking through today's episode, you're not crazy and you're not alone. And you're responding to a part of a toxic culture that rewards these behaviors. You couple that with disordered behaviors from the disordered thoughts in our mind that have dealt with an eating disorder for years. And it's this mixology that leads to this cocktail that really is toxic. But true success, and this isn't to shame you, it's just time to do something different about it. Because when we can lay it all out there, that's when we can clean the closet out. But true success includes well-being. This means that you're not just measuring success by results, but by how you feel as a human. Are you really healthy? Is that thing that you're doing actual health? Are you really rested? Are you really resting? Are you really present? Are you fulfilled? Because those things matter, sis, just as much as the promotion or the deal or the title or the sale. Anything that you're tying your worth and value to in terms of being a high performer. Real discipline includes flexibility. Real discipline is knowing when to push and when to rest, when to stick to the plan and when to adapt to the plan. The problem with years of disordered eating or having an unhealthy relationship with food is we don't understand that give and take. It's very one-sided. We've got to be strong. We have to be rigid. We don't get that flexibility is part of the strategy. And if you're a leader, maybe people are around you watching you. They see you doing these things and they think that this is what contributes to success. But if you're setting boundaries, if you're taking care of yourself and you're still performing at that high level, actually, you're probably going to even perform at a higher level because you're honoring your body and learning to trust it and it's learning to trust you. That is where transformation happens. If you're this is me, I'm a high performer in every area of my life and I constantly feel trapped with food in my body, I want you to know that you're not weak by going, I can't figure out this part of my life. This is wisdom and courage, and it's true leadership. You deserve to perform at your best, not at your most depleted. So ask yourself this hard question. What is the cost of staying right here? Is it too high? You are a valuable treasure. You are worthy of more than rubies, okay? Your life is too precious. Your potential is too great. If you have high achieving goals and you have somewhere to go and places to get to and people to see and a person that is yet to still become everything that is in your heart and in your mind and in your dreams, recovery is going to be the most rewarding thing that you can give yourself and that you can do because it's actually choosing you. It's choosing your life. It's choosing your future and your family and your freedom. So that is the highest possible standard you can give to yourself. And if you ask the question, is the cost of staying here while I'm trying to create all these successful goals in my life and accomplish them and achieve them and check them off the box, if I'm doing that while also not being true to myself and not taking care of my body, am I really doing it the way that is going to last? Because all we're doing when we're living like that is on the hamster wheel. It's discipline over discipline over discipline. And after a while, that just gets tiring and exhausted. Aren't you tired and exhausted from that same level of energy? Expecting a different outcome, expecting a release, expecting that somebody's going to get it and just save you from the mess? It's time to take a step back and go, yes, the best version of myself is going to require that I go, wait, I can still be a true high performer at heart. I can still have all these goals and all of these things that I want to achieve in my life. And maybe you've achieved a lot of them. That's the case with majority of my clients. They've had wonderful careers, but now it's time to go, this can't be it. I'm still managing these disordered thought patterns, these disordered beliefs, these rigid food rules. And I'm here to tell you it's not it. It's not it. But I'm also here to tell you that a lot of this is because of the high-performing culture that you've been around as well. We reward things that feel like, oh, you're a loser if you're not perfect at your job, or you're a loser if you're not climbing the corporate ladder, or you're weak if you're not hustling. And I'm here to tell you that the opposite is true. The opposite is true. You're actually a loser if you believe that crap in the first place. So I want you to reach out if you're looking for help and support and you're like, I am done living in the toxic of trying to be perfect in all areas of my life, yet always feeling like I'm never enough. Something is about to drop out of the sky and all of it, all the plates are going to fall on the ground. Friend, I love you. I see you. And I want you to know that you're not alone. But most importantly, I want you to understand that there are so many women out there that are just like you, that are giving themselves grace in this season of life. And that doesn't mean letting yourself go. That just means letting yourself be who you're actually made to be. If you're looking for support in this area of your life, I would love to help support you. You can go on out to herbestself.co, fill out a client application. I would love to work with you, get to know you, learn about your challenges, and how we can partner together. The cost of staying where you are with this high-performing energy, it's not wrong. It just needs to be viewed a little bit differently. Take care of yourself. I love you, and until next time, you've totally got this. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.